Welcome back, boys and girls. And today we're going to talk about the advantage and disadvantage of using a cell phone as a self-filming equipment and the tips on how I overcame the problems. As a solo hunter, I needed to simplify everything. I didn't want to carry extra equipment, so I stayed with cell phone. Now, the biggest disadvantage is the quality of the picture. But if your shooting distance is within 150 yards, I don't think this is a big problem. My biggest actual problem was when the deer showed up. In Virginia, it is so wooded, you really need to focus when you first see the deer and see which way it's going. If you lose a sight of it, you might actually lose them. But turning on the cell phone took so much time, and my focus is all on cell phone, and difference of 1 or 2 seconds can make a big difference. Biggest problem and most common reason why I lost the deer was turning on the camera. When the deer finally shows up, I have my gloves on, and I have to take my glove off, both hands, and then tap the cell phone on, swipe, go to camera, find the target, zoom in, and then hit the record. And that took a lot of time. So what I did was I put a little hole in my glove so I could have my fingers out. And as soon as I get up on the tree, I'll turn my cell phone on and turn my camera on and then zoom in to the power that I want. And at this point, I'll turn my cell phone off and leave it like this. And when the deer shows up, all I have to do is turn my cell phone on and swipe, and I'm back to where I was, and I'm on the deer. And this is so much faster. And one more thing, you want to close all the windows that's open, because if you have so many windows open, the cell phone's gonna react that much slower when you turn the camera on. Just like that. Every morning of the hunt, you have to remember to silence your phone so that you won't spook the deer. And just go into the vibration mode. And my second biggest problem was my aging eye. With the big glasses on, I really couldn't see my monitor too well. And I wasn't even able to see the deer clearly on my monitor. So even though I think I had the deer on my frame, if they stop moving, I can't see. And because of that, I lost some of the most important shot of the video. Matt. So I bought a small frame glasses, so I would have this gap in the bottom and gap on the top as well. So if I see a deer, I'll be doing this and looking at my monitor, and then once I find the deer, I go back down like this, looking down my scope. So this is about the best I can do, and it was a lot of hassle, but my eyes are not getting better. So that was the only solution that I could come up with. And the third problem was the battery life. Now, problem with the cell phone, in a really cold weather like high 20s, the battery would drain out really quickly. In fact, there was a time when I had over 80% on my cell phone, and I was following the deer with my rifle, and right before I pulled the trigger, this thing went blank and it died on me. Okay, it's moving. Okay, we just might get a shot at this. But I shot a nice size medium doe, and it was so cold, my cell phone just kept dying. I had 90% battery, but now it's got like 5% left. Must be the weather. Sorry about not catching the shot on the film, but it was just when she came out, the cell phone died, and it just won't come back on. So my first solution was buying an external battery so I could charge it on the tree. The problem is you really don't have time for that. So my solution was my hunting cap. So I always carry extra cap and extra gloves. So while I'm waiting for the deer, I'll just put the cap over the camera like this. And this really helped a lot. So when the deer showed up, take this off and then go for it. And the fourth problem is the memory capacity on your cell phone. Now, at first I wasn't aware of this, so I was doing a lot of filming, introduction films, all that stuff. And in the most important moment, my cell phone would say, there's no more room. And that drove me crazy. So now, before the hunt, I would actually remove everything from the cell phone into the computer. And during the hunting situation, I would have enough memory space. And when I come home, first thing I do is I will move all the videos into the computer and finish the last part of my hunt videos. But just beginning of last year, I bought a new cell phone with large memory space, and I love it. I could film all day, come home, and do everything at once. It's so much more convenient. Oh, one more thing. When I first bought this cell phone, it was great. It was big, it had enough space, it had a lot of battery life in it. Only problem was at the beginning, I noticed the deers were always looking up at me. So I couldn't figure out why. And then I realized this surface here was like a giant mirror. When you have that much brightness, they're gonna look up at you. So I taped it, and after that, I didn't have that problem. Now, even though I solved a lot of problems, I still had a problem with holding a selfie with left hand and holding a rifle with my right hand. Because except for the first time, the deer never showed up right in front of me where I could have my rifle sitting on the rifle rest and cell phone on my left hand and be able to shoot it. If they show up on my left or right where there was no armrest, there was no way I could hold selfie stick and the rifle free-handed and safely shoot at a deer. And there were times I actually tried this, using my left wrist as a rifle rest and holding a selfie, but even this was very difficult. So I needed to find a better way. And on the next video, we'll talk about that. And lastly, like always, thank God for what you have, enjoy life with what you got, but mostly remember, life is full of problems. You just have to find the solution. See you.